Hey there, welcome to our channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Y'all come on in. Last week on our live, one of our subscribers asked if I had ever made a nut date cake with buttermilk. Now, I've never heard of a date nut cake before, but I've heard of the bread. So anyway, I went looking. I have like lots of cookbooks and I went through all of them and they all call it bread and none of them had buttermilk. But this one is so cute, y'all. All right, it's from my little Sop Choppy Country Cooking, and it was the easiest to do, the easiest to make, and had the least amount of ingredients. So guess what? It's the winner. And we actually did this video and made this last week with zero sound. The entire video was completely silent. There was nothing. So now I have to do it again. I got it down pat now because I've already made it. So we got this. The original recipe, it's called Poor Man's Fruit Cake, actually, is what she called it. And it, like I said, real easy ingredients. You know, it just lists them, tells you what to put in, you know, in order, and then you're done. So we're gonna do it. And the only difference is she actually calls for cream or milk, and I'm just gonna go ahead and substitute it for the buttermilk because I did it last week just like she had it, and I don't see where it's gonna make that much difference, so we're gonna use the buttermilk today. Okay, let's get started. Like I said, real easy ingredients. You're gonna need some butter. I'm using walnuts, but you can use pecans. A little bit of spray for the pan. Some dates, 2 eggs, some sugar, and in my little bowl here I have cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, and baking soda. Not baking powder, baking soda. Flour, and a little bit of buttermilk. Okay, we need 2 cups of flour in a sifter. Now, if you have a regular sifter, go ahead and use that, but I just use this, works just fine. This is 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're going to dump that into the flour, and we're going to sift that all together into a big bowl. And all I have left in here is that little bit of salt that just will not go through there. So bang, there you go, clean. Okay, now that we got it all sifted, I'm gonna take about 1/4 of a cup, just a little bit, and put it in a separate bowl. And I'll show you why later. Set that aside. We're gonna set this aside. Gonna get us another bowl. And then start adding our other stuff. Okay, we're gonna start with the butter. All right, the instructions say butter the size of an egg. So I'm guessing that looks like the size of an egg, right? So that's what we're gonna use. That's what I did the other night and it worked. Okay, I got my butter the size of an egg. I have 1 3/4 cups of sugar. And we're gonna get that nice and blended together. Want to get that all nice and creamed. Okay, now I'm gonna crack this egg over here. Make sure I don't get any shells in my, yep, looks good to me. We'll drop that one. And we need the second one. Voila. No shells. If I hadn't have done it that way though, they'd have been 5. Okay, now I'm gonna beat that one egg in, get it all good and incorporated. And then I'm gonna add that second egg. Then I'm going to knock the sides down. Yes, I am. Gonna knock the sides down. Blend it for another minute or 2. Now that we got that nice pourable batter, we're going to bring our other bowl back and we're going to dump that one into the flour mixture. Okay, now that we have that in there, we're going to give it a stir. Just a regular stir. And we're going to get that. It's like semi-incorporated. Because I don't want to, when I put that mixer in there, for the flour to go poosh. Yeah, I don't want that. So we're going to mix it just a little bit by hand. Because it makes a really, really thick dough. Alright, so let's get this off. Now, we need 3 tablespoons, which now I can't find. Whatever, tablespoon works. All right, we need 3. What's a serving spoon? I know it's a serving spoon, honey, but it'll work. Improvise. 1, 2, 3. We may need a little more, we might not. Depends on your flour and what day it is. All right, now we're just gonna go in there and get that all mixed together. All right, see how thick? All right, I'm gonna add like 1 more tablespoon. And the reason mine is so thick is I added a little bit of vinegar to my cream to make buttermilk. I just don't buy buttermilk. I just add a little bit of vinegar, makes buttermilk, works, and it's a whole lot cheaper. Anyway, we're gonna add 1 more tablespoon or thereabouts. You know what, let's just put it all in there. I didn't have but about 1/4 cup total. So, it's not gonna make or break. Now, we're gonna go ahead and get that mixed in real good. It's real thick. Really thick. Okay. See how thick? That's what you want. Okay, now I've set my batter aside because I need 1 cup of chopped nuts. That can be walnuts or pecans, peanuts. Get that jar out of the way. Drop those nuts on my cutting board because we're just going to rough chop. You know, I could pull out a processor, but I really don't want to do that because I can never do it without absolutely pulverizing them. This way, I got some big pieces, some little pieces, some medium pieces. Still be crunchy instead of pulverized like I was making pie. Okay, now remember that flour that I set aside? We're going to put those nuts into the flour. Okay. Then we need 1 cup of dates. Just like 7 dates. No, 7 dates. I don't want too many. Make it too sweet. All right. Now we're just going to dump those and cut those into really small pieces too. And these are already pitted dates. They're perfect. In fact, these are Midori. They're the best. Sweet, you can just sit and eat them. You know, they are getting a little pricey. I think those things were around $6 or something, and that was back at Christmas time. So much from being a poor man's fruitcake anymore. Okay, now those dates go in there too, into that little flour mixture. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick this bowl up, right, and just shake it just like that. Just shake it. What we're doing is we're coating the dates and the nuts, because if you don't do it, then they tend to sink in your cake, and so the top of your cake won't have anything, and the bottom of the cake will have all the nuts and dates in it. So if you do this, I don't know, it's just an old wives thing, they won't sink if they're coated in flour. So now we're going to take this and put it in here, and more than likely I'm going to have to add a little bit of milk to this, just straight milk, because I'm out of buttermilk. And it's going to need a little bit. It's a little too thick. Okay, now we're just going to let me get that, give it a good stir and get those in there so that I don't take the flour off of the nuts and dates when I add that milk. Okay, now I'm going to put maybe just a fourth cup of milk in there to loosen it up just a little bit. Now that's because on any given day, it's been a rainy day here, and there's lots of humidity, and a lot of times, I don't know why, but that will make you have to add extra liquid when you're messing with flour, even, you know, biscuits, anything. It just depends on your flour, how much humidity is in there, all kinds of things. But that looks good to me. It is a really thick batter, but it didn't need to be quite as thick as I had it. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get it in a loaf pan. And what I do is I cut a piece of parchment to fit in the bottom. And what I'll do, because I hate sticking, I will spray the inside of the pan. Then I will lay my parchment paper down inside. Flatten it out up against the sides. Take the air bubbles out. And then spray it again. Right, just like that. And then we're going to put all this into one loaf pan. and then we're just gonna take that off of there. Gonna give it a good shake. Flatten it out a little bit. Now we're gonna get it in a preheated, now she called it a slow oven. Well, a slow oven is 350 degrees. So we're gonna get it in here in the center. Oh no, we're not. I forgot to move the, in this toaster oven, it says to bake on that bottom rack, and I forgot to move it, so sorry guys. All right, now we're gonna put it in there in the center for 1 hour. Then we're gonna check it with a toothpick. If it's not quite done, we'll leave it until that toothpick comes out clean. See you in an hour. Okay, my hour is up. And we are good to go. Look at that. Okay, now all we want to do is let this sit for about at least 10 minutes or so, and then we will flip it out of the pan and let it cool another 10 minutes. 10 minutes is up, and if we did a good job, it's gonna fall right out of the pan. Voila! See how good a job that parchment paper does? It makes life so much easier. Now, this is really hot, but we're gonna tip it over just like that, and we're gonna let that sit there for another 10 minutes. All right, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's like really crunchy on the outside and then really soft on the inside. So Randy's gonna come give us a taste test, but we happen to know we already made it last week that it was really, really good.
Yeah, I loved it. She sat it on the counter on the table, right? And in the camper, and as I walked by, I always took a piece of bread with me.
Yeah.
And this is most excellent with a cup of coffee.
Oh yeah, it's really good with coffee or a glass of milk, and you can serve it warm or cold.
Mm.
He does, he loves it, he loves it.
I do, I love the crunch of the nut, the sweetness of the dates.
Mm-hmm. I like the crunchy outside. I really like that crunchy outside.
Well, I was going to say that after I got done chewing.
Oh.
But yeah, what she said.
So I don't know if this was the recipe you were looking for, but it sure is one to give a try. It's really, really good.
It really is. Really good.
Mm-hmm. Poor man's fruitcake.
Poor man fruitcake. Date night. Or date nut. Okay. I'm out.
See you in the next video. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you there.